30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a gloomy, gray Tuesday in Nashville, Tennessee. And yes, this is the new bowling shirt that each one of you will receive who signs up to play in our little bowling soiree, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night, next Monday night at the Strike and Spare on Lebanon Pike. By the way, for what it's worth, there are still about 5 foursomes available out of the 64 slots, either 6 to 8 p.m. or 8 to 10. If you would like to sign up to be a part of it, simple. Email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Yes, the shirt is a little big. I went one size too big on it. But you get sort of the gist of what we're doing with this, and I'm very excited about what's coming. It's time for our daily Titans update with Terry McCormick, brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. So dial her up at 615-969-4350. Let's say hello to Terry McCormick. Terry will be one of those wearing these beautiful red shirts. Terry, how are you?
I'm doing well, George. How are you?
Good. You ready for this?
Sure, absolutely.
Good. Are the Titans ready for Carolina?
Maybe. We'll see. I mean, if they're not ready for Carolina, who are they going to be ready for? Because this is, on paper at least, the worst team in the league with only one win coming in here to Nashville on Sunday.
We've had a couple of offensive coordinator changes. Ken Dorsey in Buffalo. Now we've had Matt Canada in Pittsburgh. Would a loss to Carolina, as embarrassing as that would be, does that hasten some things at all?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think, Mike Vrabel was adamant yesterday when we talked to him that he's not thinking about any coaching staff changes or making any in-season moves along those lines. So I wouldn't think so. I think they know the situation they're in. I think that they realize that this thing is going to have to be completely rebuilt. You look at the situations in Buffalo and in Pittsburgh, those were situations where those teams are in contention, and they felt like that for whatever reason, like in Pittsburgh, that the offense is just not getting it done. And in Buffalo, that there were some things that have come about on offense with Josh Allen and interceptions that certainly are cause for concern. With the Titans, there's cause for concern across the board, and this team's not going anywhere. So it really doesn't make any point right now to get rid of a coach. I think that's something that Mike Vrabel, though, is going to have to take a long, hard look in the offseason and evaluate, because I do think there need to be some changes made on this staff, but I think those will wait to the offseason.
Terry, how much worry is there about the beatings that Will Levis is taking?
Well, certainly there's some, because you don't want the guy to get just continually hit and harassed and not be able to execute the plays from the pocket. But, Mike Vrabel said that, they're aware of it. They don't want him to be in harm's way like that. So I think that probably, George, is maybe part of the reason that you saw a lot more quick throws, like bubble screen and things like that Sunday in Jacksonville, rather than the 7-step drops. And one of the times that they did get a deep pass off was on the flea flicker, where the trickeration there bought them some time. So I think they're cognizantly aware that they can't put this kid in harm's way if they want him to fully develop. I think, between now and the end of the year, it's going to be hard to evaluate him playing behind that line and how bad it is. But I think, their number one goal would be to protect him and then to evaluate him. And then in the offseason, they've got to upgrade both the protection and the weapons around him.
Okay. Anything on your end you want to leave us with?
Well, George, I told you that Chris Hubbard was going to miss some time. He's going to miss the rest of the season. So looks like Jalen Duncan is next man up at the tackle position for the Titans now.
Okay. We'll see how it works, Terry. Thanks as always.
All right. See you, George.
Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady. And through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. So dial her up at 615-969-4350. Kelly, I would assume the new shirt meets your approval.
It does. It looks like it fits a guy with a 5X, but that's okay. I mean, it looks better than the yellow. I mean, I'm giving that a thumbs up, George.
I just reached into one of the big boxes. I had to deliver about 8 boxes today out to the Strike and Spare on Lebanon Pike, and I guess I reached into the wrong box.
You did. Absolutely. You look like something that Dennis Northcutt used to wear, one of my receivers. He used to wear everything overly big, and that's kind of what you look like right now.
Omar the tent maker.
Correct. You look like you could make a 10 out of that shirt.
You probably could. Good stuff. The folks at Hit After Hit helped us with this, and greatly appreciative of Lynn Pilkington and the entire staff. Billy, you look like you're ready to do an update.
I am.
If not, you're gone. Happy Thanksgiving.
How about the Preds last night?
Scored
2 goals in the final in 16 seconds in the final minute of play.
And stayed till the end
for an incredible comeback. Second straight win. They got Calgary tomorrow night, and we're going to show this. You want to show it later when we talk about the Preds, or I can show it now?
Let's do it both.
Okay.
Let's do both.
It's about
Look,
2 minutes.
We haven't had a lot of happy news.
That's true.
Recently, so what the hell? Play it.
Yossi, a changeup, kicks to the slot. Forsberg from the circle, right in front, looking for Sisson. Save! Rebound, score!
Philip Forsberg wants to win hockey games, and look at him attack the net. He's been all over the ice the last 5 minutes. Look at the elation here. Georgiev has no idea where that puck is. Sissons puts it back to the net out of midair. Forsberg comes from high to down low and knocks the puck out of midair in the back of the net. And look at the bench explode.
But you talk about a relentless, would not be denied type of sequence. 2.5 minutes. They had so many close calls. Now 30 seconds to go. The crowd still buzzing in here. Makar retreats back. Makar wipes out, it's loose in front. Snap, shoots, rebound, score! Yes, sir! Jakob Sutton!
Are you kidding me, Willie? Look at this play. Puck goes in on the forecheck. The puck bounces out. Person to get the piece. Jack Johnson doing everything he can. And Yakov shredded. Smith battling. Johnson makes the first save. And shredded. And then to the people. He goes. Number 13, the Yak.
Look out below. Timeout, Avalanche.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
O'Reilly has it, 4 seconds to go. He'll sear the board. It's cleared. The Predators win.
Finally, some good news from somewhere.
That's good stuff.
That's
was really good stuff.
Good call by Willie and Chris Mason. Thanks to the folks at Valley Sports for allowing us to run that. So now it's, as Crispy would say, Calgary tomorrow night.
Well, the Avs were a good team. You forget
They're a really good team.
Preds, it wasn't a slouch they beat last night. And Calgary's more of a mediocre team, at least right now.
Here's the question that we're going to ask Guy when he comes on today. This is a young team that has really struggled early. Is this the catalyst, or is this just a moment in the sun? Hard to know.
Sometimes it takes a home game like that to get it rolling. So
I got
Calgary,
home, by the way, just in time to see this. Watch the pass. He dropped it.
Oh, so we're going there, huh?
Well, everybody else is.
I mean, it's raining, dude. I mean, good. Now, they dropped a bunch, but they've been dropping a bunch all year. I mean, there's nothing new going on. Patrick Mahomes just keeps winning, though.
Was it not raining on Philadelphia's side?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I mean, absolutely. But hey,
sure of that.
Hey, both teams are playing it, and I'm just saying. Sometimes, I mean, when you're a professional guy, you got to make that catch, and he didn't.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I think.
Boy, bless his heart, is he hearing about it?
I hate it.
My God.
I hate it for him. I think he had a good quote. He said, obviously, I got to deal with this right now. God put him in this situation because he knows he can, he wasn't all, doom and gloom about it. So it's good to see that guys don't, because you feel for him. I mean, it's hard not to, obviously fans will pile on him. I'm sure Chiefs fans were over him, but I mean, you're the Chiefs. So it's like,
Well, here's where the pile on could really get ugly. It may cost them home field throughout.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I almost give more credit to the Eagles' front seven. They got some pressure on Mahomes. Mahomes struggled, only 177 yards and an interception, and they got to him on that third down. I thought that was the play of the game. I know they had the drop, but they got to him, and he couldn't even get the ball back to the line of scrimmage, Kelly. So I mean, they pushed him back about 20 yards. And I give credit to the Eagles' front seven and finally getting some pressure on them.
Well, when you're the Philadelphia Eagles and you hold the Kansas City Chiefs scoreless in the second half, you're doing something. That's pretty good.
Eagles start 9-1 in back-to-back years now. So they started 9-1 last year, and there's only a handful of teams that have done that consecutive seasons. Of course, last year it didn't end in a Super Bowl win. We'll see what happens. But Devontae Smith, his 40-yard catch set up that tush-push touchdown. They scored that. And that ended up being the game winner. So Eagles beat the Chiefs 21-17. Also, George, you mentioned it this morning. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin announced the firing of offensive coordinator Matt Canada. This is the first time the Steelers have made a head coach or coordinator change at midseason since 1941.
It had to happen. Their offense was going nowhere. It looked like the Titans.
And that's
bad.
This was Mike Tomlin's decision. That's what he came out and said. He wanted to make sure that this was his decision alone.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing to me because you hear things about Matt Canada and you hear some of the problems that he has, but he keeps getting jobs. That's the thing about the National Football League. If you get your foot in the door, you're still going to get a job, and somebody else will pick him up. I don't know. I mean, he'll probably be a quarterback coach and have to work his way up again, but I mean, somebody will probably give him another shot.
Oh, yeah.
Pro football is a cruel business. This doesn't make for a real, happy Thanksgiving in the Canada household. However, I'm sure he's made pretty good bucks out of the deal.
Yeah. It was not
the consolation prize.
It was not going to be a happy Thanksgiving for Kareem Jackson either. It was announced this morning that he has been suspended without pay for 4 games for repeated violations of player safety rules. The result of his hit on Vikings quarterback Josh Dobbs less than 2 minutes into Sunday's win. And it was a brutal hit. I was kind of wondering how many, would it be 4 games, but he ended up getting 4 games. And
he'll appeal and get 3.
Go down to 3?
If I was going to guess, yeah. That's the way it seems to work.
That is part of the game that has changed drastically. Not even, of course, since you played, Kelly, but within the last 10 years. And Tom Brady talked about it. I think he brought it up last night with somebody. He said there's too much mediocre play in the NFL, and he brought up a lot of the rules changes having an effect on that and creating bad habits. And it feels like that call has changed a lot of the way quarterbacks play, right? They might, even if they don't think it's going to get completed, like Mahomes last night, he is the best at it, at creating those penalties. He'll wait, and then throw it, and then, I'm not saying he'll flop, but there's a lot of players that have used these rules to their advantage. I think it's changed the game a ton.
I am so, I don't know about y'all, but I am so over penalties.
I'm
I
sick
get,
of it.
it's hard to watch games now
Yep.
because there's no fluidity whatsoever in a game anymore. It's just like when you have a kick, there's for sure going to be a penalty. It's either on a punt or a kick return. There's going to be a penalty. You get a good kick return, there's always a penalty. You get something going. I mean, they're always calling. You can call holding on every play, and some of them are drastic, but some of these flags are just nitpicky, tick-tacky. I don't like it.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense. The result of the play is an automatic first down.
Gosh.
The worst is
I get
defensive
sick of that.
holding.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the worst.
keep going.
Maction tonight, Bowling Green at Western Michigan.
Seats available.
Eastern Michigan at Buffalo.
Sections available.
The whole stadium is available in that one.
That's what it looks like.
Once you go MAC, you can never go back.
No.
Once you go back, you might not ever want to go back.
Exactly. Fourth round of the college football playoff rankings revealed tonight.
Yes.
6 o'clock.
And our own Butch Samide, Florida State University student, will join us at 3:20 when I will ask him the question, are they going to screw y'all over?
He'll say he certainly hopes not, but
I know
it might happen.
Good.
I just don't think it's going to be this week. I really don't. But next week, maybe.
I have a feeling it's going to sort itself out. That they'll lose if they don't deserve it. They'll win both if they deserve it.
Nice attitude.
Moving on, another big college football piece here. FedEx founder Fred Smith has donated $50 million for this Memphis Liberty Bowl. They called it Memphis Stadium in this release, but I thought it was called the Liberty Bowl. But you're getting a new look for the Liberty Bowl, largest donation in school history. It looks like they're modernizing it a bit here with kind of a Grove type tailgate scenario here.
So, Billy, in the mid-'80s, when young Jorge was in Memphis, they were a codlock cinch to get an NFL franchise. And one of their many screw-ups that probably opened the door for Nashville and shut the door for Memphis, the NFL sent them a series of requirements about the Liberty Bowl press box. And they basically blew all of that off and chopped all the booths in half and said, see, we've got what you need. And the NFL didn't particularly buy it. No. Memphis had several. In fact, the day after my first game there, when I did Memphis State Ole Miss in September of '87 on a Saturday night, on a Sunday afternoon, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Kansas City Chiefs sold out the Liberty Bowl. And at that point, it sure looked like Memphis was getting it. I hate being ugly because it's a great gift by Mr. Smith, but it's about 30 years too late.
Yeah. Feels a little bit like Vanderbilt, a couple years ago when they announced theirs. It was just, you're already behind. You might as well do it now. But yeah, so Memphis released those. So obviously we'll see about that. College hoops, 2 really good games tonight. Number 7 Tennessee, number 2 Purdue at 7 o'clock. And then number 1 Kansas and number 4 Marquette tonight at 9 o'clock. Tennessee is legit.
Yes, they are.
They've got a player. I mean, I watched yesterday. I'm definitely going to be watching tonight. Dalton Connect is a heck of a player. You might want to ask Tony about him and that team.
He will join us after the break. I'm assuming you're done.
I am done.
Okay. Tony Basilio will join us from Knoxville. Stick around. Dodge the raindrops. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Well, Billy mentioned it earlier. The Tennessee-Purdue game tonight, that's an NCAA tournament kind of game out in Maui. 7 o'clock Nashville time, correct?
Yep, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, out in Maui.
Okay, I'll guarantee you that Tony Basilio will be watching. Let's bring him up and say hello. First of all, Tony, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Same to you guys, and I'm so thankful for both of you, and I appreciate you for including me today. So great to talk to both of you.
Oh, gosh, it's the other way around. Hey, say something nice. This will make Kelly happy. He didn't like gold, so this year we've gone to red shirts for Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
That is phenomenal, and like a Kansas City Chief fan, I like that.
Yeah.
I love that Kansas City Chief color. I'm for it.
Kelly's going to take a lot of credit. By the way, congrats to EAGLES.
Boy, that was crazy last night.
George, he really doesn't care about the color of your shirt. He's not even coming to the bowling deal, so he doesn't really care.
I completely care about the color. In fact, I'm rocking
it
myself.
No, you don't, Tony. Don't quit lying. Stop lying.
Kelly.
I'm rocking it myself today, guys.
Quit being the Grinch who stole Thanksgiving. Okay, you need an attitude adjustment.
Hater.
So let me start with the basketball game. Doesn't this feel like a preview of an NCAA tournament game?
George, this field's absolutely loaded. And the great thing about, and the one thing Rick Barnes has done to this program is he's elevated it to the point where they play in events like this. I mean, Tennessee went off yesterday with Syracuse as a 12.5-point favorite, covered the spread. Look at the teams in this field. You've got Gonzaga. You've got Kansas. You've got UCLA. You've got Syracuse. You've got Marquette. You've got all these teams that have won, national championships and played in games of consequence. And yet the Volunteers, even though they haven't had the postseason success, are right there with them. It's remarkable.
Oh, I think it is the strongest Maui field they have ever had.
Yeah.
Tony, I've gotten to do that twice out there. It's an incredible trip. Gosh, it's been years ago, but it was a blast. So now on to the other. First of all, what was the call-in stuff like afterwards?
I think most people kind of are resigned to the fact, George, that this team at this point in time was just not going to stay on the field with that bunch. In fact, this team at this point in time is all beat up. This team at this point in time is playing out the string, and they're really glad to see Vanderbilt on that schedule.
Oh, that part I absolutely believe.
Vanderbilt has cured all sicknesses for every team this year.
Well, I'm just not sure how many other teams Tennessee in the league could beat right now, as beat up as they are. I mean, they just don't have any playmakers left on either side of the line of scrimmage. And they're a tired team, and they're a worn-out team. And they're just a tough watch right now. They just are.
So if Heupel could do it all over again, you know where I'm going with this, what would he do differently?
They would, I'm sorry about that. They would be.
It sounded really good.
Sounds great. They would be, probably they would have done what they've done. I think the whole point with Nico this year, the freshman quarterback, was to not get him hurt, to kind of grow him. And so, I mean, the only other option would have been, because Nico's very slight, so the only other option would have been to go get another quarterback to put out there. And Joe Milton was, he's like a bridge player for them. Joe Milton, and I'm not knocking the guy, but if Savannah Bananas had a football team, he'd be a great quarterback for them. Because, I mean, who doesn't want to see a guy throw the ball from one end zone to the other? And then imagine all the things he could do. Nico, what we're looking at here is the future. And I think against Vanderbilt, you're going to see him. There was a discrepancy among Tennessee fans, among the media, and among Tennessee even, as to can Nico play, which would be his fourth game he's played in this game, and then play in the bowl game. Some had thought, yes, he could. Some had thought, no, he couldn't. Some had thought, because the NCAA rule used to be that the bowl game counted toward that. Then last year, because of COVID and other reasons, they decided that they were going to go away from that. Some people thought that was temporary. Some people thought it was permanent. Well, Tennessee had to check with the NCAA in the last day or so, and they've determined that he can play in the bowl game and that he's good to go. So you'll see him against Vanderbilt this weekend, and you'll see him in the bowl game.
From afar, I've got an opinion about all this, and I want you to either say, listen, I'm kind of with you, or I think it's hogwash.
Yeah.
I have thought since about the second half of the Texas A&M game that Heupel has looked like a guy who has had to take about 60% of his playbook and throw it in the trash can and just hold his hands up and say, this guy can't do these things, so what the hell good does it do to have these plays? In that respect, even though I don't mean it personally, Joe Milton's a coach killer.
Well, he's just an offense killer. And the truth is, in these games, these losses, if you go back and you add up the second half scores of these blowout losses, and you go with Florida, and then you go with the other three, I mean, Tennessee's not scoring points the second half. You can't beat people in college football when you don't score after halftime. You're not going to beat anybody. That's why we're glad to see Vanderbilt show up on the schedule. And I mean that. Vanderbilt has they've only covered in one game this year, and the line this week is 26 points. 26 points is a lot of points for this Tennessee team to score. That's a lot of points in a league game.
Kelly, your witness.
Well, we're kind of belaboring the point here, but I gotta kind of set this up because I talked to Billy and George and asked them this question yesterday. Like, coaches sit in a room. I've sat in a room. That was in high school, but I've been in meetings before where you take an evaluation of your program. You look at who you got. They lost 5 guys on offense who were pretty good players. They're all in the National Football League. So do you think this is a deal where Josh Heupel went around the room and said, hey, we're probably, like Tony Basilio said, we're probably a 9-3 team, maybe a 10-2 team. Not sure about that. They would have had to win the Florida game. But do you think that they go around the room and say, this is probably going to be a bridge, like you said, a bridge gap year? I don't know if we can go to the heights that we went last year. So why not? Let's just go with Joe Milton. There was some loyalty there, I think, because he stayed in the program. He came in. He had the opportunity. He had the opportunity to start, but he didn't because he didn't play well. And then Hendon Hooker took the job. So do you think that, that the coaches kind of knew this was probably going to happen and not know? The fans are always there. They're always thinking, hey, with the season we had last year, we're going to be really good. The coaches are realistic about it. Do you think that kind of went on, Tony?
I don't think Josh Heupel signs up to not be anything but in the top 10 in the country with his offense. So,
gotcha.
And I do think they thought that he could do things that middle of the year they just determined, like George said, it ain't going to happen. So we'll run the ball, spread the field, keep doing what we're doing. And the weirdest thing about the Nico deal, guys, and I do this every day and talk to people as much as I can, as you can imagine. Well, they didn't tell anybody they were redshirting him. Nobody knew that. It wasn't until the latter part of the year, the last week or so, Adam Sparks is the first person I saw write it in the Knoxville News Sentinel. And Adam says, well, looks like Tennessee, chance they're going to redshirt him, which if you do the math, that means he wasn't going to play against Georgia. And that he could play against Vanderbilt and play in the bowl game. But I guess my point is, and you tell me this, Kelly, as a head coach, when you sign a kid that's the number 1 player in America,
yeah,
and you pay him that kind of money that he's being paid,
yeah,
and you got a kid on the field in Joe Milton that, borderline can't play. I'm not knocking the guy. He just can't play. He's whatever. Wouldn't you communicate with your fan base that, hey, we're redshirting this guy? I would think the last thing you would want to do is get your fan base up in a lather, because I know for a fact that this coach has heard it from some big money people who basically are saying, we want to see this kid play this weekend against Vanderbilt. Now, does he give into that? Does he not? Does he let Milton play the whole game? George calls those guys owners in major college football, which is a good term for those big money boosters that underwrite, all the NIL stuff. And so the question then becomes, I love Heupel. I think he's a really bright guy. I think he's a really smart guy. Why wouldn't you tell your fan base this freshman quarterback is not going to play? You got to manage those expectations. Maybe that's inexperience. I don't know. But thinking back on the way the year transpired, we were sitting there on Fridays down at our live remotes at Calhoun's, and we were going, okay, so how many series is Nico going to play tomorrow? And as it turns out, the answer was none. 0. Where if you're trying to introduce a quarterback as you go along, you want to play him a few series. You want to get him some exposure. And they've hardly played him. And he's got to start next year. and they're going to hand him the ball. I think looking back on it, they determined this guy is too slight. We don't want to put him behind that offensive line and get him hurt and, rattle his confidence or whatever the term is. So let's just wait to play him. We'll play him at the end of the year. We'll play him in the bowl game. But why wouldn't you tell your fan base that? Tell the media that or leak it out somehow.
I'm kind of with you, Tony. I don't understand that either. Heck, and I know times were different, and I didn't play at UT. I played at Middle Tennessee a long time ago, but I was slight. But I can always remember Coach Donnelly said, I would rather lose with a freshman than to lose with a senior. And he just was not going to have that. And I just don't think is Nico – are you totally, is the fans totally, is the coaching staff totally sold on his ability of bringing the Vols back to prosper like they did last year? I mean,
people I talk to love him, Kelly. People I talk to say he's got unreal skill, but he feels the game. That's the other question you have to ask yourself is, why would you not give that guy an opportunity during the year? Because I go back to that Missouri game. If ever there was a game where you should have pulled Joe Milton out of a game, it was that one. But they were never going to do that, which looking back on it now just makes me feel foolish because we kept speculating. Why didn't they play him? Where was he? What's the deal? What gives? But Kelly, some people, the conspiracy theorists say, well, maybe he's not that good. Maybe they don't want people to see him because then they can sell the future. I think you're going to see him this week against Vanderbilt, and I think he'll look pretty good when he plays.
This goes back to kind of my initial statement, talking about the team, talking about what the coaches think. Did the coaches kind of look at what they've got and said, I just don't know how good we're going to be. I don't know how explosive we're going to be on the outside. Is this a year that we probably need to sit him and just let him, see the game, see how things are worked? I'm with you though. Like if you're not going to play him, like your fans, they should know that because I'm sure they're feeling all that pressure of why aren't we playing this guy? Why aren't we playing this guy?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's what you're hearing when you get to call-in show. I'm sure people just don't understand that. And I'm with you. I don't understand why they wouldn't say that, but maybe the coaches said, we just don't have enough around him right now. Maybe next year we're going to be better, which they obviously know that. They've evaluated their talent, but maybe that's what they're looking at. I don't know.
But the way the game's played is you just leak it to the media. You don't have to go before the media and say, you just leak it to somebody.
Yeah.
Call one of the beat writers in and say, hey, write this for me. This guy's not going to play because we don't want to get him hurt and he's too slight and we're going to let him grow and we're going to play him at the end of the year. And people would have been fine with that. The thing about Josh Heupel, I'm just telling you, there's no way they sat in a room and said, yeah, we're going to be an 8-4 team.
Yeah.
This guy's too competitive. And this guy is too into his offense and putting up numbers. And they would have never gone with Joe Milton if they didn't think he could put up big numbers because that's what this guy wants to do. Joe Milton, at the end of the day, could not elevate the people around him because he can't do it.
Well, that's really sad, man, because I like the guy and I like what he's gone through, but it's just, you finally look at guys, and I've told my son, looking at people, looking at college things, like some guys just can't play. And you can give them every opportunity you want to, but they just can't play. So coming out of this game, this will be my last deal. Coming out of this game, Tony, are there any positives that came out of that game against Georgia? Were there any positives? Were there, the fan, like, give me some positives.
Well, that portion of the schedule's over, and now you have a chance to end the year with 2 wins. Because if I got to sit there and watch these guys take another 30-point beating, I'm not going to sign up for that. So the positives are there are 2 games left, and then we've got the transfer portal fun that's going to begin after the championship games are played, and then it's basketball season.
Where's their most likely bowl?
George, I've seen anything from one of the lesser Florida bowls to the Music City Bowl to Memphis. So who knows?
Let me ask, though,
Tony, So Tony, in the transfer deal, where do you think that they will be looking at? Are they just going after any players, or what do you think? You know, if you're a National Football League GM, you're looking at it. We've got a weakness here. Where do they go in the transfer portal?
They're going to target offensive line. They're going to target some defensive line. They're going to target secondary, and they're going to target wide receiver. But really, offensive line is a major issue of need, because you've got at best case scenario 3/5 of their offensive line back next year, and very little depth behind those guys. So I would think you're going to see them sign at least 3 offensive linemen, maybe 4.
Okay, let's do this before we let you go, because there's a little disagreement in the panel here.
Okay.
I believe that the committee, whether it's tonight or a week from now, will end up screwing over Florida State. What say you?
Oh, I think you're right. Look.
Oh, yeah. Let me high five you.
Are they the same team without Travis? My problem with that committee, George, is that what they do this week has no bearing on what they do in a couple of weeks. So they might leave them up there this week and then pull the plug on them when it really matters.
Look,
that's what I'm saying, George. They're going to leave them there this week.
Only one. Well, the only thing that matters is the end of the year deal. So why are we doing this every week?
Well, this was aimed more at Billy, Kelly, but you're so paranoid that I'm going to take a shot at you.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, though. I mean, I'm with Billy too. I'm with Billy too. Like, they're going to leave it there. There's no way they can't leave it there today. But now next week it's going to be totally different.
Okay, but here's what I'm getting at. Billy keeps saying if they go 2-0 in these last 2 they're in, and I'm saying
What more?
If it's 20-19 at Florida, 22-20 against Louisville, they're not going to be in.
What more can they do, though? I mean, it's an undefeated ACC champ.
But Billy, here's the problem. The problem is, and this is what's going to happen, I think that Alabama is going to beat Georgia, and there's no way that the SEC is going to sit there and let that Florida State team minus a quarterback get in over one of their teams, because that's what's going to happen. The politics of it.
I also think.
Go ahead.
I also think this could happen. Florida might beat Florida State next week, and we're not even talking about it.
No, I think so too.
See, I think if you argue too much, here with Tony, this could end your shot.
I know.
Getting employed.
I'm treading carefully.
Billy, if anything, you endear yourself further to me by kind of having your own opinion. But it is such a political deal.
Yeah,
it is such a political thing. And can you imagine if Alabama does beat Georgia? Could you imagine a playoff without the Southeastern Conference in it, George? Because that could happen.
Oh my God! Can you imagine the uproar?
It would be incredible.
They'll burn down that building in Birmingham.
I'm for it. I'd like to see it happen.
Yeah, but if there's no SEC team, then who are the 4 teams that are going to get in there?
Well, if Florida State goes,
Texas.
If you could stay on Billy's deal, Texas beat Alabama, so Texas has to get in. One of the left coast teams in either Ohio State or Michigan.
That's a scenario.
That is a scenario.
Yeah.
It's very real, by the way. Because
it is real. I agree.
Because Texas beat Alabama, and Alabama will be very much a live dog. They got a shot.
Mm-hmm.
The eyes of Texas are upon us.
Yes, sir.
George, I think Tony's got a Purdue postgame tonight.
I'm almost certain he does.
Yeah.
So let's find out how people can hear you after this one, because it'll be a hell of a game.
It's going to be a great game. So we're at tclub.team. And then I'll be on my Twitter Spaces, which is people can hear I open it up and throw like an external mic here and put my phone by an external mic and let people listen to what's going on in the background here. So it's a crazy way to listen to what we do, but dangerous way to listen to what we do. But it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. tclub.team. And, Tennessee, if they win this game, they probably going to get Kansas in the championship game tomorrow, which is a 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central time game. I don't know why one night you're playing at 8 Eastern and then the next night you're back in the middle of the afternoon, but whatever.
All I know is out there they have guava juice, and that stuff's pretty good.
Better believe it.
Yes. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I know that I'm thankful you're here. I'm hopeful Kelly is, although his attitude.
Oh, absolutely. I love me some Tony, man. No question. Now he doesn't like me. He's a big Watson Brown guy. I'm not saying he don't like me, but he tends to go to Watson more a little bit, you know?
Where did that come from?
Just saying, man. I mean, not saying that he don't like me. I'm just saying he's a Watson guy. He's already said that. He said that.
And Billy, of course.
Bill, Kelly, your level of projection, man. But I will rank the Plaster Show in order of what I would call like importance to me. I'm going to go Billy 1. Billy, listen. Billy's meltdowns on his Vandy podcast will never be forgotten by this living fan. So I want Billy to know that. George is number 2 because it's the George Plaster Show. And Kelly, you're number 3, but it's not a distant number 3. You're on any given day, you could be somewhere in that mix, man, but probably third most days.
This is killing him. I love it. This is
Appreciate
beautiful.
You guys. Yeah. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
See you, man.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
He is the great Tony Basilio. Kelly, I'm sorry. He tells the truth.
I love it, man. I like him. He loves the Phillies. He loves the Eagles, man. He's a Philadelphia guy.
Good for him.
You can see. You're right. You can see the Philly in him.
Oh, absolutely. And how do you feel? Have you filled out an application yet?
Not yet.
To go there?
Hey, and George, I meant to say something to you, man. I'm sorry about Aaron Nola, man. He signed back with the Phillies. I know you were trying to get him to the Braves.
I forgot to throw this in an update the other day. Sonny Gray connected to the Braves. I don't know if you saw that a couple days ago.
Listen, it's the number 1 target on their deal, and it has been for the last 3 weeks. I need to put a call to Sonny and basically tell him, listen, big fella, you want to go with the winner? Go with the Bravos.
Unless you're playing the Phillies.
Yeah, well, maybe. Okay, after the break, we will allow the expert, that's Kelly Holcomb, to tell us, now that the Steelers have fired Matt Canada, what is the true ceiling on Kenny Pickett? Stay tuned.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you. Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is
family owned and operated for more than 2 decades. Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service. Growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals, who share the founders' passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458, or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Well, as most of you know by now, really early this morning, the Steelers announced that they had fired their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. The offense was getting absolutely nothing done. Kenny Pickett, if he hasn't regressed, he certainly hasn't moved upward. And a lot of the talking heads who know a lot more than I do say their offense is way too easy to defend, not enough motion, not enough eye candy. Kelly, first of all, give me some thoughts. When you see the Steelers, is that true? Not enough stuff to worry about?
See, I don't. Of course, I hadn't looked at it like that, George. Matt Canada's he's kind of that guy. He's a motion guy. He's a shift guy. He's a move guy. So I don't know if that's the case, George. I really don't. I just for whatever reason, I'm just not sure that they're good enough offensively. The Steelers, like, they got Najee Harris, but now they got the other kid, the Warren kid, who was he undrafted? I think he's an undrafted guy.
Yeah,
who's playing really well.
Yes.
What's that?
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think he's and he's really good. I mean, they found something with him, and he's going to, of course, he's a running back, so he's not going to get paid all that well, but he's going to get paid at some point. But he's a pretty good player, so they found something with him. But the Pickens kid is really good, but they're not getting him the ball. I just, I know that you asked me about Kenny Pickett. I know you're about to ask that. I'm not sure how I feel about him right now, George. I don't know. And we'll just have to wait. We'll just have to wait a couple of weeks and see how that move, see what's happened with the Steelers and offensively, because you saw what happened in Buffalo. I don't know if that was the problem, but they scored 39 points the other night. So there was something amiss, and then the other night it looked really good. So I don't know. We'll have to have another game or two to find out if that was a problem. And I've always said it, and I say it every time that somebody makes a decision like this, that the coach is starting to feel heat from somewhere. Now, I don't know if Mike Tomlin's starting to feel heat, because he's won a Super Bowl there. He's won a lot of games. He's never had a losing record as a Pittsburgh Steelers coach. So I don't know if he's got anything to worry about. But normally when you make rash decisions like this, things are coming down from the top that you're not liking what you're hearing, and the pressure's starting to get to the coach, and he's got to make a move somewhere. So I think we'll have to give this a little time, a week or so, to see how it pans out.
Is it fair to say that Kenny Pickett is not consistent enough? Like that's another problem with this offense.
Yeah. Oh, there's no question he's not consistent
been-
enough. For one, I wish he would take the glove off.
Yeah, what
That's
is
a
he
pet
doing?
peeve of mine. Take the glove off your throwing hand and let's throw traditionally. Okay. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't understand how he does that. Obviously he's used to it, but sometimes, man, I tried that and I didn't care if it was pouring down rain. I could not wear a glove because those gloves are so sticky now that when the ball comes out, you just never know where it's going. And quarterback play, we all know this. If you got a good quarterback, all the teams that are at the top of the divisions have really good play at the quarterback position. And if you don't, you're struggling. But like I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have been. What is the stat that they've been talking about? They've been outgained in every game this year, and
they
they're
have not
still winning
apparently.
games.
They have not had a 400-yard total offense game. But
Right.
you see a little of where I'm going with this, because here a lot of the same stuff is going to start happening. I don't mean the firing of anybody. I mean the scrutiny of a young quarterback. Is he getting better? Because, the argument can be, well, there's a certain amount Levis could get better, but he's got to have more weapons. Well, you might say the same thing about Kenny Pickett.
Man, if you gave me that Pickens guy, now I don't know how he is in the locker room. I don't know what kind of kid he, at Georgia. I'm sure he had some issues. I don't know, but like he's that talented of a guy. Like you got to get him the ball. Like he's an AJ Brown. He's not as thick as AJ, but like he can make play. You got to figure out ways to get him isolated and get him the football. And you don't see enough of that to me in that offense. Plus, I'm like Billy, like where's the consistency with Kenny Pickett? I'm just not sure. I'm not sure he's the guy, fellas. I don't know that. I don't know that. Well, time tells everything. But if it's me, man, I thought he was an okay player at Pittsburgh. He played really well. I mean, he came down here to Knoxville and beat those guys in Neyland Stadium. I thought he was a good player. Does that translate in the National Football League? It still remains to be seen with him. I don't know.
I'm not ready to throw him out yet. I like Pickett. I also like Will Levis. It will be interesting to see in the development process who makes the bigger upside quicker.
Right.
Because they're in kind of similar situations, except for this. The Steelers continue to win with the deficiencies they have. And that says a lot about Tomlin. We'll go to the break. We'll get stat of the day, which we have not gotten, since
we got
Halloween?
Yesterday. We got
yesterday.
Yeah, but before that, we had not had one since Labor Day. And then hopefully Mark McGee's going to be able to join us. The Preds absolutely pulled one out of left field. 2 goals in about a 20-second period. If you didn't see it at the beginning, we'll show it to you again. Go Preds.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. On Monday, November the 27th, I'll be playing host to the 3rd annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night here at the Strike and Spare on Lebanon Pike. Here's where I need your help. We have 64 foursomes that will play with 64 sports celebrities. We've done a good job in getting the foursomes, and now I need some of you as single players to sign up and get involved. The cost is $200. The proceeds will benefit the Last Minute Toy Store and the Martha O'Brien Center. And what I promise you that night is great bowling, maybe not, great food, a ton of fun, and in fact, I'll make this claim, more fun than any charity sports event you have ever been involved in. To get involved, simply email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Let me know whether you want to be in the 6 to 8 p.m. shift or the 8 to 10, and get ready for a night of bowling and fun you'll never forget.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. You know, it has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Tuesday. It's time now for Stat of the Day before we hop into Mark McGee talking a little Preds after their wild win last night.
Crazy.
First Stat of the Day brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards out in Shelbyville. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday, except for, I would guess, Thursday this week, from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what Matthew's got cooked up today. Georgia has won 28 straight games dating back to 2021. Who is the last college football team to have a win streak of 28 games or more?
Kelly, let me start with this. Would it be a Miami Hurricanes team, the U?
That's kind of what I was thinking, George. I know that hasn't Alabama done it twice?
You're saying gotten to 28 in a row?
Yeah, I think they. The first thought that came to my mind was Miami, when what you said, and then I think I saw something the other day that I was reading or something that Alabama's done it a couple of times, and I can't remember. I'm sorry. Maybe Miami. You may be right.
Let's go with Miami and see what happens.
Clemson.
God.
2018 to 19.
How could that be?
No,
Did they really?
Because I think Alabama did it before that.
Yeah.
It was Clemson. That was a team that was a team that I could not remember.
Well, Miami was a nice guess.
Yes.
Don't give me that look. Billy's over here giving me this look like you all should have done better. So Kelly, tee off on him.
Billy, just sit over there and do the techno stuff and let us handle all the other stuff. And you and Matthew come up with some better dadgum questions. You know what I'm saying?
That'll teach you to have that look.
I'm so over you young dudes. I want to punch like y'all face. I want to punch y'all. I really do.
So are you gonna punch Billy at the bowling alley?
I could, man. It's possible. Like when I see him, I may see red.
Because look, whatever you do, just make sure he's able to work the next day. Maybe a glancing blow.
So maybe I can hit him in the chest. Just stay away from his hands and his brain, but I'll hit him real hard in the chest.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. Before Guy joins us, and I know he's just about ready to, the Preds pulled one out of their you-know-what last night, scored twice in about a 20-second time span with well under a minute to play. They were down 3-2 against a really good Colorado Avalanche, which won the Stanley Cup 20 months ago. And here's how this whole thing happened. Let's let you see it.
Yossi, a changeup, kicks to the slot. Forsberg from the circle, right in front, looking for Sisson. Save, rebound, score!
Philip Forsberg wants to win hockey games, and look at him attack the net. He's been all over the ice the last 5 minutes. Look at the elation here. Georgiev has no idea where that puck is. Sissons puts it back to the net out of midair. Forsberg comes from high to down low and knocks the puck out of midair in the back of the net. Look at the bench explode.
But you talk about a relentless, would not be denied type of sequence. 2.5 minutes. They had so many close calls. Now 30 seconds to go. The crowd still buzzing in here. Makar retreats back. Makar wipes out, it's loose in front. Snap, shoots, rebound, score! Yes, sir! Yoko Sutter!
Are you kidding me, Willie? Look at this play. Puck goes in on the forecheck. The puck bounces out. Person to get the piece. Jack Johnson doing everything he can. And Yakov treaded. Smith battling. Johnson makes the first save. And treaded, and then to the people. He goes. Number 13, the Yak.
Look out below. Timeout, Avalanche.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
O'Reilly has it, 4 seconds to go. He'll sear the board. It's cleared. The Predators win.
Okay, so Mark McGee joins us the day after this miracle occurred. Guy, is this a springboard or simply a moment in the sun?
Well, I think it could be a springboard. They've won 2 games in a row now for the first time this season, and so I think that could be a springboard for them. They played the way we've talked about in the past. They played what they've been talking about playing like. They did for 60 minutes. They never gave up. They were relentless, especially at the end, and it paid off for them. And that's what they have to do. And that's one thing Andrew Burnett's talked about, that they've got to play a solid 60 minutes to win. Well, they did that last night, and Yakov Trent's goal, nice little rebound shot there. That was a nice to win the game. His second of the year, but this can be a springboard. Calgary coming in Saturday. When's Calgary coming in?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah. Tomorrow, and when Calgary coming in this homestand. Calgary's a beatable team. They didn't beat Calgary the last time out, but Calgary's a beatable team. They're having some issues along the way. So so they can close out this homestand with 3 wins in a row here, which would be kind of a nice little boost from that standpoint before they go to St. Louis over the weekend. And so, if they play this right, they could bounce. This could be a real springboard for them. They certainly need one right now.
Until this little streak, there had been rumblings that Barry Trotz might be looking around at Edmonton, who desperately needs a goaltender. Does this end that, or do you think that has ever been, or is it still going on? I asked a lot of questions there.
Well, I think from everybody talking about that, yeah, that was probably something they were looking at. I'm sure Edmonton's been looking around quite a bit. We talked about Saros last time I was on the show. I think that that they were kind of dangling him out there, maybe Yaroslav. So one of those two could be traded. Yaroslav's a little bit riskier because he hasn't played in the NHL one game, I think, and wasn't a really great game. But Saros is. We talk about him a lot, but we look back at his previous seasons. He is not a fast starter. He's letting some pucks go past him that he usually doesn't do. But he's a slow starter, and I think we have to take that in consideration as well. But Kevin Lankinen, maybe give him more of a chance. He won the other day. Maybe give him more of a chance to see what he can do as well, and give Saros a rest to some extent. But I think that Edmonton's desperate for a goaltender. I mean, things have gone crazy up there. They got two of the top players, McDavid and Draisaitl, as far as offense goes, and Draisaitl has let it be known that he's very upset with the situation right now, the way the team is going, and that's not a good thing. Though they're both locked in for a while. But still, you got to make everybody happy. So yeah, it would definitely be a great move for Edmonton to get the Saros or Yaroslav. But I don't, Edmonton obviously has some offensive depth, and that's what Nashville needs. Barry was looking around for a long time for a top six forward like everybody else is, and then when Luke Shen got injured, that changed that whole situation. Because they're looking at maybe Dante Fabro going in a package deal of some sort. So that changed that whole situation. But yeah, Barry's shopping. He's looking because he knows his team just needs a little bit more to kind of get over that hump.
So when Andrew Brunette got hired, it felt like, hey, there's going to be more offense, and we'll see what happens on the other end of the ice. But when you give up 7 against an Arizona, admittedly better than they have been, but not the 27 Yankees, has Andrew had to dial it back a little bit as far as we're going to have to play more defense and just hope that the offense comes?
Well, the defense situation, one of the big problems with that is you don't have Brian McDonough. That's one of the huge. I mean, he's a huge part of that. So not having him makes a big difference as well. And they've got a lot of a little bit younger in defense than they have been in the past. So and you don't have Saros back there especially on the power play. You don't have Saros back there to excuse me, on the penalty kill. You don't have Saros back there to help you out. So because he has not been consistent at all. Their penalty kill's horrible. So one of the last 2 in the league, I think.
Kelly, say hello to Guy, and let me say that Guy will be another of those wearing the red shirt that I'm wearing right now. He will be one of the celebrity bowlers. He's under more pressure.
Practicing.
Yeah, he's under more pressure, Kelly, than most, because the owner of Strike and Spare has really called him out for his performance a year ago, which was not good.
I'm practicing. I practiced for a couple of days. Yeah, I'm practicing. I'm going to be ready.
I love it.
Please don't tell me you're practicing right now for Georgia's celebrity bowling deal. Please don't tell me that.
Well, I'm not practicing for Georgia's celebrity bowling deal. I'm practicing for Larry Schmittou. Larry Schmittou's who I'm practicing for.
So they've made fun of you,
that's
huh?
what I'm practicing for.
Let me just say this. Larry has had a field day at Mark's expense.
I've done an interview with him a few months ago, and he knew my lowest score without even having to think about it. He goes, how did you score? How did you bowl that low? And I go, how do you know that? He needs to keep his mind on something else. I mean, how do you know that?
I love it.
So I'm coming out. I'm going to practice a couple more days before this thing starts.
Guns blazing.
I'm going to come out strong.
So Mark, we talk a lot about the Titans here and how they're going nowhere fast. And I don't know if this is a fair question, but I know you probably think they can, but do you realistically think this team can make a run at the playoffs?
You've asked a very good question, Kelly. You didn't even know you'd done it. American Thanksgiving is Thursday. Okay. They have a Canadian Thanksgiving too, but American Thanksgiving is Thursday. And that is a metric for whether a team is going to make the playoffs or not. And right now, the Predators if you're not in the playoff situation on Thanksgiving Day, your chances of being in the playoffs at the end of the season are pretty slim. Right now, the Predators are more worried about being the bottom of the division, much less in the playoff spot there. 76% of the teams in the playoffs over the last 10 years, 12 years have been in a playoff position at the Thanksgiving Day break. Not break, but on Thanksgiving Day. And right now, the Predators are the Jets and Avs are tied at 22 apiece. The Predators are tied with the Minnesota Wild, which is a struggling team, at 14. So you got an 8-point gap right now. You got to make up just to be in the mix in the top three. So that's a pretty. But like I said, it's possible. It's possible, but the odds and the metrics are not favorable.
I got you. So with your expertise on on the Predators and with hockey, what are their right now early in the season? What are their strengths and what are their weaknesses?
Okay, their strength in some ways, also their weakness. They've got a lot of young, talented players, but but they're young and they're making some mistakes. You look at the team, you got a veteran mix and you got some talented young players and some good, solid veterans like Ryan O'Reilly and Philip Forsberg and Roman Yossi. The list goes on. You got a good mix of people, but they're learning and they've got to get this offense and this new approach to the game under them without any questions. They still make mistakes as far as where they are on the ice and that type of thing. As far as plays go, they've got to clear that up. It's not something that's not fixable. It's not like they have no talent like the San Jose Sharks. It's not like that. It's just that they've got to get everything meshed together. Like I said earlier, they played a full 60-minute game against the Colorado Avalanche, which is a strong team, one of the strongest teams in the league, and they beat them 4-3. And they came back and did it in the third period with a minute left. That's pretty strong. That's something, like I said, you can build on, but they've got to play like that every game. And can you do that every game? Probably not, but you can come pretty close. So they've got their defense is usually their defense has been strong. The defense is not as strong as it has been. Luke Shin's out, and so that's and then McDonough's out. So those are two big losses there. And I think Shin played one game before he got hurt. So, but you've got to really the defense to bulk itself back up again. And offensively, they're shooting a lot. If you keep on shooting, it's going to go in. And they are taking a lot of shots, and that's great. And the offense is fast moving, but they've got to do some stuff. The power play is not quite what it should be yet, so they've got to really do some things.
So my last thing here, what is your assessment of Andrew Burnett? What do you? I mean, is he the guy for the job? Obviously, Barry Trotz thinks a lot of him, brought him in. What do you assess right? To this point right now, what do you think about the job that he's done?
Well, I think he's come in with the new system. He's come in doing what they want him to do, perk up the offense and probably perk up the power play. Those are two of his expertise areas, especially the power play. Power play hasn't been as good as people expect it to be. It's got a little bit better, but it hasn't been as good as people expected. So he's got to figure out what's going on there. He's got the skills. I mean, he was a miracle worker with the Florida Panthers and didn't get much credit for that. And so he knows how to coach. He knows how to win. He hasn't got no. So I think he's going to be fine. He's just got to get settled and get everybody on the same page.
Guy, keep practicing. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday night. And, hopefully you can get a score that Coach Schmittou will approve of.
I'm open. So I'm in the 100. I'm in the high 90s, low 100 right now. So I'm okay. I'm getting better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going to make it.
Getting better.
Well, good luck, man. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to go yet or not. So, we'll see if I'm there or not,
We'll talk about
come on,
that
Jay, you
here
gotta be there.
momentarily.
Yeah, and I'll even speak to you this time.
Nice. I like that. Gee, see you later.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
See you.
Okay. We have late word from the veteran broadcaster, Hall of Famer, Chuck Morgan, who has asked Kelly for a little sympathy from the court, says he will cut the new open on Monday. The new open was put together earlier today, as though I don't have 100,000 other things to do. I said to myself, we've got to get this done for selfish Kelly Holcomb.
One of the other 100 things to do, you should have picked out your shirt. You should have got a shirt that fits you.
Right. This is Omar the tent maker.
Exactly.
Is what this thing is. But it's a beautiful shirt, and I give you some credit for trying to nudge me in this direction. But I will say this, someone else, a much smarter person, was the ultimate decider.
I don't care who gets the credit, George. It doesn't matter as long as it gets fixed. I don't care who gets it.
Yes.
Don't care who gets the credit.
I'm sure you don't. Okay, we'll go to the break. Poor Butch Samide. I think Billy, I don't know. I think he's very concerned.
Well, I would be, because they're going to lose next week to Florida.
I agree.
Yep.
I think so too.
Wow.
Man.
They're going down.
Okay. He will join us from an interstate near you, a former plaster intern who is a student at Florida State. He's also the guy that has worn the Superman outfit. Butch will join us. Stay tuned.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hardworking team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Think about it, probably the most important thing that will come out of tonight's college football playoff releasing of the poll is to see what the committee's logic and strategy is on Florida State. The loss of a great quarterback in Travis is devastating down in Tallahassee, but they're still undefeated. They play Florida in Gainesville this weekend. Then they'll be in the ACC title game against Louisville. The committee, I believe, is going to be forced to ask the question or answer it tonight on television. What is your Florida State strategy? With that in mind, we have asked Florida State student and former Plaster intern Butch Samide to join us from an interstate near you as he gets back into town. Butch, where are you right now?
I'm about 20 minutes north of Dothan. Just kind of got through. There was a little bit of traffic, but this is the part of Alabama where there's not much to talk about.
Yes, I believe that. So before you left, what was the mood down there on how the committee will treat Florida State?
I think that everyone kind of has the same opinion or at least prediction about what's going to happen tonight. I think Washington's going to jump Florida State. I think that it's hard. It's a weird resume week since they played at Oregon State, which many people thought should have been College game day. And Florida State plays North Alabama, and not only that, but they lose their starting quarterback in the process. So, and I think it's a fair jump. I think there's going to be definitely some Florida State fans that are upset about moving back in the rankings after a win. But I think it's fair given that Washington's now played Utah and then at Oregon State in back-to-back weeks. And on top of that, you look at Florida State's best win probably being the game against LSU versus Washington's best win, which is a win over Oregon, who, that's their only loss. And I believe they're still sixth in the nation, according to the AP poll. So, I think it's a fair jump, and I think that's where the college, the playoff committee's going with it. And then, of course, as we go on down the line, trying to determine what does Michigan State, Ohio State look like after this week, and then with the conference championship games and everything, how does that shake up the top four, really the top six? Now that there's 5 undefeated teams, which is just. That's insane.
Butch, give me sort of the scouting report on the young guy that now has all the pressure on him to try to replace Travis because nobody knows anything about him.
I think personally, I think Tate Rodemaker is a very good quarterback. This is now his 4th year under Mike Norvell. He was the first quarterback that Norvell brought into Florida State. Norvell inherited Jordan Travis as a transfer from Louisville, but Tate was the first guy that, Norvell was responsible for bringing in. And so a lot of people thought after the 2021 season that Rodemaker might start over Jordan Travis. And if Florida State had a better offensive line and didn't need a mobile quarterback or an incredibly mobile quarterback like Jordan Travis, I think a lot of people would have sided with Tate Rodemaker because he's always been an incredible thrower of the football. And he's a good athlete. I don't want to make it sound like he isn't, because he made some plays against North Alabama where he showed off that he has some serious speed. But I think that when you compare the different backup quarterbacks that are going to come into the Florida State-Florida matchup, Florida State, you don't, especially today's age of the transfer portal, you don't have a fourth-year guy as your backup quarterback anymore. That's just not, you don't see that anymore. And so I think that Tate Rodemaker has a lot of confidence in himself. And I also think that Norvell has a lot of confidence in Rodemaker because he's been there so long, and he hasn't transferred. He's played it out, and he's had opportunities to go and be a starting quarterback elsewhere. But, he believes in what Norvell and what Florida State is. And I believe he's going to show on Saturday that he has the talent to back it up. He has a great arm. He can make every throw you want. He has a zip on the ball that you really like to see. And it's going to be a different, game offensively than what Travis has. I think you're going to, especially after the injury last week, you're going to see a lot less quarterback run, or at least designed run, because you're fearful of another injury similar to what Travis had. But I think they're going to air it out, and I think I would not be surprised. This is a Florida defense that's given up a lot of big plays. I wouldn't be surprised if they take their shots, especially the guys like Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson.
Kelly, you got a question or two for Butch?
Well, I just want to know, I still haven't seen, what did the Jordan Travis kid actually do, Butch? Did he dislocate his foot or did he break his foot? I know it was gruesome, but, do we have a confirmed deal about what he did? Because my daughter, plays for Lipscomb, and she severely dislocated her ankle this past, a couple of weeks ago, and she's had surgery. So what, did he severely dislocate it? Did he break it? What did he do?
They haven't made an official statement, other than, of course, it being the end of his college football career.
Correct.
Just being there at the stadium, obviously you don't see the TV cut of what it was, but I knew it was bad once they brought out the immobilizer. That's kind of a brace that they put around a leg, your arm, only for broken bones. So that was initially my main concern, is he broke something in his lower leg. And then going back and watching it on TV, I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor, but I would assume that it was some kind of break in the lower leg, whether it be the tibia, the fibula, the tibia, whatever it might have been. But unfortunately, I believe that it was probably a break along with some ligament tears, because it was so gruesome and was, just so out of place, that I wouldn't be surprised if it was a break on top of, leading into a ligament tear or two.
So this is my last thing, because I know we got to run, but this is my last thing, Butch. I kind of agree with George, but I agree with Billy too. I'm kind of on the fence about this. So let me just ask you and put you on the spot. If this young kid, well, not young kid, I mean, he's older now, and you talked about Norvell bringing him in, but if the new quarterback comes in and he goes to Gainesville, he wins that game, and then he goes to the ACC championship and beats Louisville, do you still not think they get in the playoffs?
I think this is my belief. I don't think it's the College Football Playoff Committee's job to gauge how good a certain player is or isn't. I think it's the College Football Playoff Committee's job to weigh resumes and bodies of work over the course of a season. I think Florida State being an undefeated conference champion, I don't see how you don't put them in, especially when the backup quarterback goes and gets a road win at Florida, which has been proven to be hard, even though Florida isn't as good as they have been in the recent past. I mean, you saw what they did to a team like Tennessee, who was dismantled by Florida at Florida. And not only that, but a top 10 matchup in Louisville. I think if you have a backup quarterback or any quarterback that goes out and shows that he can do, that he can handle that kind of workload on top of what Florida State's already done, I don't see how the college football playoff committee can look at Florida State and say, your backup quarterback is slightly worse than your starting quarterback. Even if you're undefeated and are a conference champion, you can't get in. I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's the job of the playoff committee.
Well, and earlier Tony brought up the fact that Alabama, what if Alabama beats Georgia? Well, Alabama's not the undefeated team here. Florida State is the undefeated team. They would be the ACC champ. Alabama slipped up early in the season against Texas at home. Florida State did not slip up. They had chances. They held off Boston College, which was huge for them. So Florida State never slipped up. They're undefeated. They're an ACC champ at that point. Alabama slipped up earlier this season. I don't think Alabama should get in over Florida State, even if they do win the SEC title.
Yeah, and then it becomes a question of also what happens elsewhere. What happens if Oregon beats Washington? What happens if maybe there's a freak upset between Michigan and Ohio State, the winner of, the game this Saturday? What if they lose in their conference championship game? It's unlikely, but, still possible. I think that there's a lot of possibilities, but there's never been an undefeated conference champion that didn't make a Power 5 undefeated conference champion that's missed the playoffs. So it would have to be a lot of dominoes to fall for Florida State to miss the playoff. I mean, obviously the easiest one could just be if they lose one of their next two games, and I think that eliminates them. But yeah, and then it becomes a conversation of, does Georgia fall out not being a conference champion? Does Alabama get in over Georgia? And I think the playoff committee this year is, they're rooting for the top dogs just to keep winning so that it's easy. But, in this year of college football, it's hard to really say that there's, a team or two or three that have separated themselves completely from the rest of the college football landscape. So, it's going to be really tough.
If there are 4 undefeated teams at the end of the season, would you guys say those are the 4 teams that need to be in just to make it easier? Because there's going to, if not, there's going to be an undefeated team that is left out for a 1-loss team.
Liberty's undefeated.
Exactly. So somebody else. That's what I was going to say, George. And then up until this past weekend, James Madison was undefeated. So, there's a lot of, you can't just say undefeated teams, man.
No, the truth of it is that there are a bunch of schools that are not eligible. Now, they're not told they're not eligible, but they're not eligible.
And they shouldn't be eligible. Liberty should not be eligible.
Well, now that's your opinion.
In the 4-team playoff.
No, I don't totally disagree. But I think when we get to 12, there ought to be room for an undefeated Liberty.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And there
or room for a group of 5, maybe 2 group of 5 teams if they're undefeated. You've got to give them an opportunity as well.
By the way, can we properly say goodbye to Butch?
You may properly say goodbye to Butch.
Okay, Butch, drive safely. Get back home in one piece. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I will. Thank you, guys.
Love the Superman outfit. Great picture, Billy. Good stuff.
Couldn't find any others that would work.
After the break, we intend to make you money. We intended to make you money last night, but
it would have made him money last night if he would have just caught that ball.
The drop changed millions of dollars. Some were sitting there doing this. Others were sitting there doing that.
George,
I'll make it easy. Yes,
George, are they going to outlaw the tush push?
I hope they do. I think it's gotten
it's indefensible. Philadelphia, you cannot defend it. You can't defend it.
Not the way Philly does it. Not with a quarterback that can, bench press 1,400 pounds.
Why don't other teams do it?
Well, because they don't have a quarterback that can bench press 14, whatever he can bench press. Hell, I don't know.
Bench press squat, George. Freaking
Well,
figure
okay,
it out.
whatever you do. I mean, look, when you wear this shirt and you look like this, clearly you've not been in the weight room. I'm back to make you money in just a moment.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Final segment on a Tuesday. Got some action tonight. Tennessee and Purdue at 7 o'clock. Got the college football playoff rankings reveal. So a lot going on tonight. But first, Plaster's Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to their website. That's bartdurham.com. Let's check out what happened last night. Loss.
Yes, dropped pass.
Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. He's catching a lot of crap. And the thing is, as I brought up earlier, this could affect the Chiefs in their attempt to get home field throughout the playoffs. This is a gift for him that may keep on giving, and I feel bad for that.
Yep.
Well, it could, but that means that means the Ravens have got to keep winning. I mean, I don't know if that can happen, and it all stems on Lamar Jackson. Can he stay healthy? I mean,
yeah, I don't trust the Ravens.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, so, I don't think they lost a game last night, but they're still top 2 teams in the NFL. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Kelly, here is some gambling news for you. Money that you make winning a game in the MAC spends exactly the same as one that you win in the National Football League. Remember that.
I will.
Okay.
I totally agree with that, too.
Tonight, there are 2 MAC games, and I, of course, have a strong opinion on both. Let me say this. Tonight ends a streak of 7 weeks in a row where there has been a college football game. No college football tomorrow night, but then on Turkey Day, football everywhere.
The madness of the Egg Bowl.
Friday, football everywhere. The weekend, football everywhere. So don't go into too big a withdrawal. Okay, tonight's games. Bowling Green on the road is simply better than Western Michigan. I'm taking Bowling Green. Kelly, I'm taking Buffalo for one reason. Eastern Michigan sucks.
So you feel strongly about those games, George? You really do?
Let me put it this way. I feel stronger about the Buffalo than I do the Bowling Green.
Bowling Green feels dangerous.
It is dangerous. It's the MAC. Once you go MAC, Billy, you can never go back.
What does that even mean?
Well, I just as soon you not ask that.
That's just fun to say.
Well,
George.
Kelly, tomorrow on the show, our final show before Thanksgiving, thank God, we will have underdog picks, and we'll talk with Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee. As for the underdog picks, I had Kansas last week, which was very respectable in a loss to Kansas State. However, that does you no good.
Yeah, no, it does. We're moving that up a day early. Obviously, Willie's radio station is probably moving that up a day earlier as well. So
I would think so.
I got you. Yeah, I didn't do very well either last week. It was awful.
No, North Carolina out.
Terrible.
And Willie gets another win. Dad,
really? Who did he pick?
He had UCLA.
I knew it. I knew it. UCLA. I knew somebody had that pick, and I forgot.
Y'all could learn something from Willie.
Willie to go play in traffic. Tell Willie to go play in traffic.
Well, first of all, why does he throw that in there? He could learn in the
he's just
unemployment
always
line.
throwing stuff in. We don't need to hear you, Billy. Better be seen, not heard. Be quiet, dude.
You know, my dad said that. Children are to be seen and not heard.
Yeah, go play in the street, Billy. Nobody cares.
Wow.
I just like hearing Kelly erupt.
We're out of here. We've got the Thanksgiving spirit, don't we? We also have a shirt that is about 4 sizes too big.
Yeah, go get a new shirt, George.
You lighten up over there. See you tomorrow.
See you.